basically, so basically after that, things are actually starting to look up. So I'll just quickly share a few things. I mean, today sentiment is not the talking point, but I'm just
Okay.
sharing with you all the context so that you understand where I'm coming from. So if you see many of the medium term indicators, like say something like FII's positioning and so on, they are all at an extremely short positions. The percentage of long position of FIIs had almost gone to single digit, and it had hit the lowest point since the 12 years data that we have, sorry, 13 years data that we have. Okay.
Okay.
7.43 something was the long percentage. I mean, we haven't seen such long percentage ever. The lowest
Okay.
earlier was 2023, which was around, I think, 7.75%. And after that also, we saw a massive rally on the upside.
Okay.
So yeah, basically that is the context. Now the thing that becomes very important and relevant is that which are the sectors that we need to choose so that
Yeah.
we can eventually end up making money, because we have seen a lot of rotation in the market.
Yeah.
So being with the outperformers, catching the outperformers, and weeding away your losers or underperforming stock, that would be the key. And I think in this webinar, you should be able to get a fair idea of how to identify outperformers. And
Yeah.
yeah, basically that is what the agenda will be for today. So just to make sure that we are on the same page, what I'll do is that I will I'll take around 45 minutes or so to explain everything. After that, if you all have any questions, you all can raise your hand. We'll take the questions one by one. In between, if please avoid it, because it will break it will break the
Flow. Yeah.
momentum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is why request you to please wait for 45 minutes. Mostly, if at all you have some questions also, I'm very sure it would be explained along the way. But if at all you still have any questions, please ensure that, after the 45-minute presentation, whatever we have, you ask us after that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I hope everyone has their books or wherever they're making notes regarding this is with them. And yeah, or any doubt you have or anything, just make a note of it. So after, and probably when Jay is explaining, it might get clear. Or even though still you need clarity, after this we will have a Q&A session where you can just raise your hand, and then we'll help you or ask you to unmute, and you can just have a conversation and just get your doubts cleared. Okay. So Jay, yes, you can take
Yeah.
over. You
So
can
yeah, I think
start.
Rajesh mentioned that the volume is low. Is it that? I mean, I've
No,
tried to increase the volume well from Zoom.
if you guys have any issue regarding the volume, just drop it in the chat, and if not, we will just start going ahead with the session.
Yeah, wait, I'll also increase. Oh, okay, okay. So this I had increased it. Now, is it better?
Yeah, it is better. It was volume is good. Okay, so I
Okay.
think so.
Oh, this volume is this.
Yeah,
No, no, no. Okay, I have to increase the volume
mic
of the
volume.
microphone. Oh,
Okay. Yeah, now it's a little louder, I guess.
okay. Fine. Great, great. Okay. Thanks, Rajesh ji, for pointing out. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, Jay, you can start. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get started. See, firstly, before understanding RRG, it is important for you all to understand that RRG does not give you absolute buy and sell recommendation. Okay. The full form of RRG is relative rotation graph. So everything that we discuss is in relative terms, which means that if a sector is leading, okay, it means it is relatively outperforming the benchmark index, which is Nifty 50. Okay. Now, many people tell ke arey ye sector, I mean this sector has come to the leading quadrant, why is it still giving a negative return? Okay, so just to give you a context, okay, so just to give you a context, if Nifty index if Nifty is down by minus 10%, okay, and IT index is down by minus 5%, okay, this means that it is an outperformer and it can come into the leading provided how its historical positioning also was, okay. So this is what you need to understand, that this means that it is outperforming, okay, it is outperforming. Now if the Nifty index is up by plus 10%, okay, and say something like media that is up by plus 2%, it will still give us the absolute return, okay, and but it will be categorized as underperformer, okay, underperformer, and that's where there the problem is. So a lot of people who don't understand RRG, they blindly do that till if it comes to leading, just buy. If it goes to lagging, just sell. But understand the context of the market. If the market is gonna rise higher, everything will do well. But the ones which are underperformer, that will relatively be underperformers, and that may not do as well as the benchmark. So this is the first starting point that everyone has to understand, okay, because this is important and this is what will we will be talking most of the time, okay, while we are talking about RRG. So this is first important point. Now the second important point is this is momentum, okay, and at the bottom that you see is relative sorry, this is the RS ratio, okay. So RS ratio is the actual outperformance or underperformance, okay, and momentum is nothing but whether the stock is losing steam or no. So so these are the two things that are captured. See, in your analysis usually what you would want is stocks which are relatively outperforming, and there the momentum is also good. Ideally those are the stocks that we need, right? And for that we have to do 2-3 scans basically through heat map. You can find out the stocks which are outperforming, and then through RMI or MACD you can find the stocks where the momentum is going to pick up. But RRG is the only unique one where you see both this in one chart, right? And that's where it is also it becomes easy relatively to scan the stocks and to identify, and there are certain similar patterns that we keep seeing again and again, okay, and when we see those patterns, those are the times we can be bullish or bearish, or those are the times where we can cut our position or add our positions, okay. So these are the patterns that we will be discussing about, okay. So I'm just repeating once again, the first key important point to understand is that leading means outperformance. Okay, it does not mean that you go and buy that stock, the very next day. You all have to understand based on what the benchmark is gonna do. So in this case, say we have taken Nifty 50 as the benchmark. So if Nifty 50 is going to do well, the things that are into the leading quadrant that should probably do well. Now, why I'm telling probably is because there are certain patterns in leading that if it occurs, then it is a sign of caution and you need to be careful. Okay. So yes, so that is the context. Now, the second important part is these dividing lines. You need to understand the meaning of these lines. Okay. The thing, all the index or the sectors that are on the left hand side of the 100 mark, that means that in terms of RS ratio, okay, which is at the bottom, they are not doing that great, okay, which means that they are relatively weaker than the Nifty index, and that is why they are on the left hand side, okay, they are over here. And on the ones which are on the right hand side, okay, they are the ones which are outperforming the benchmark, and that is why the relative strength ratio is more than 100. So if it is more than 100, that means it is outperforming. It is, if it is less than 100, it means it is underperforming, okay, and if it is at 100, it means that they are doing like to like performance, right? So this is second important point that you need to understand. So things that are on the left, you should be a little careful and you should watch out for certain patterns only to occur. Then only you can say with confidence that maybe a turnaround can happen. Okay. Until then, you need to be careful. And the ones which are on the right hand side, it seems that they will outperform, but again there are certain patterns that you need to watch, uh, which will determine whether, I mean, what is the kind of outperformance that we are going to see. Now, the second important thing is momentum. Okay, actually, this is the most important thing. And see, while even we had introduced RRG, I mean, we ourselves were learning, right? I had never used RRG, for example. I mean, when it got introduced on Strike, I started seeing some patterns, and that's where I started getting an idea of how to look into it. Okay, so that's where I'll try to share some unique points which probably you might have not heard anywhere, or you might have not understood it anywhere in maybe a simple language, but that is what the attempt will be. Okay. So momentum is actually the most important thing even than RS, I feel. Okay. Because what happens is that momentum leads relative strength. Okay. I'll tell you what I mean by that. So always what happens is that so basically in our system, the lines that you see, okay, at the bottom. So the red one is momentum, the green one is RS. If at all you get confused, double click over here and you will understand. Okay. You can see that the red one is momentum, the green one is the ratio, which is the relative strength. Okay. So always, I mean, since I have been tracking for almost a year now, what I what I usually see is that momentum is the one that turns down first. Okay. And then it is the relative strength that turns. Okay. So momentum turning down itself is a sign of caution that probably the relative strength will also come down. Now, what happens when the relative strength come down is it means that it is now starting to underperform. Okay. So this is very, very important to understand that momentum will always turn around first, and then it is your green line, which is the relative strength, that will turn down. Okay. Now, why is it important? Is because assume that something is in a leading quadrant. Okay. Something is in leading quadrant, and now this arrow that we get basically from RRG. So those who know and those who have been seeing the RRG chart, you will realize that there are, I mean, we represent it this way. So what it means is that every dot is what was the relative strength and momentum in the previous weeks. So you can see that 29. So this is a weekend. Fifth, this is a weekend. So at the weekend, how were they positioned? So that is what we get to understand over here. So anything that is turning down like this, it's an indication that now the momentum is losing, and eventually even the RS will come down. So in which case, what will happen is that it might probably go like this, and it will come. So this is your leading quadrant, this is weakening, this is lagging, this is improving. Okay. So usually this is the cycle that you get. From improving, it goes to leading, from leading, it goes to weakening, from weakening, it goes to lagging. Okay. The so as I told you, watch out for this pattern, which is momentum weakening. If the momentum weakens, you need to be careful. Okay. Now, the second thing that you have to understand, and which is again very important, is that I'll put a different color to this. The sectors which are strong, what they will keep doing is that they will hover something like this only. So basically, they will hover within weakening and leading only, which means that the RS is above 100, right? Which means that all the time they are outperforming only. But always understand that whenever something is outperforming or something is, doing very, very well, it's bound to happen that there will be some pullback in that. Okay, which means that if the stock is rising higher, for example, then it is possible that there is some bit of consolidation that is going to happen. Okay, and that consolidation is what will bring it to the weakening quadrant. Okay, now understand that when a particular stock is in a weakening quadrant, it still means that it is outperforming the benchmark index, and that is why, because this is the 100 mark. And what we learned just a while back is that anything which is on the right hand side of 100, it means it is outperforming. Anything that is on the left hand side, it means that it is underperforming. Okay, so that is where the relative strength is on the right hand side, which is, I mean, the position of the stock is on the right hand side of the relative strength of the 100 line, which means it is outperforming. All it needs is the momentum to come back. Okay, when it starts even rising higher a bit, okay, something like this, then you will see that particular index turning around from weekly. Okay, and when it turns around from weekly, there is a very likely chance that it will go to leading. Okay, and again, please understand, when the ratio is going on the right hand side, it means that the relative strength is improving. Okay, and when the line is rising higher, something like this, it means that the momentum is also rising. So the ideal scenario that you would want for buying is momentum increasing and relative strength increasing. If you want to short something, the ideal setup that you need to watch out for is something like this, where the stock is turning down from improving. Okay, which means the momentum is also losing pace, and even the relative and the relative strength is also deteriorating. That means that is why it will go towards the south side and on the left hand side. Okay, so this is what it means. So now what happens is that when you are trying to manage your portfolio, and see, RRG becomes a lot more important for the professionals who are trying to beat the benchmark. Okay, in our case, maybe we may or we may not want to beat the benchmark, but at least what we would want is absolute return, right? So in absolute returns, there are patterns that we need to watch. And what are those patterns? Wait. Okay, so what are those patterns? So those patterns are when we are into leading, lagging, and improving. Okay, so the patterns that we need to watch out for is something like this, which means the stock was in an uptrend, then it went for a consolidation, and now that consolidation is over and it is trying to turn up. So that is what will lead to the next leg of up move. Okay, this is what RRG will help you to find very easily. Okay, now this is for the ones who want to chase momentum and who want to basically trade in the stocks which are in the uptrend. Now, there are some guys who might want to be a little contrarian and try to catch the up move early. Okay. So, for them, the thing that you need to watch out for is the pattern, something like this. So, you have to first wait for the momentum to turn around, because as I told you, when the momentum turns around, okay, see, if this is the line of momentum. So, what will happen is that momentum will bottom out first and then the RS will bottom out. Okay. So, when you see a setup like this, what will happen is that eventually the RS will do well, which means it will outperform. So, what it will see is something like this, and then it will start going towards the right hand side, because now the up move might have happened, and that's why it is outperforming. Now, the only risk to this is that sometimes it can happen that it will go something like this and then it will turn around and it will go down like this. So that's where checking momentum becomes extremely important. Now, as I mentioned, RRG shows you the positioning and the pattern. For price action, for levels, you will have to go back to the price action, and if you want to execute your trade, you will have to go back to the price action and find some important and relevant highs and lows for your reversal levels. Okay, so this is very important. RRG, what it does is that, because see, you cannot compare 100 stocks, 200 stocks, or 50 stocks for that matter, in one go, and you cannot decide which are the stocks to look out for, right? But in RRG, because of certain patterns that it creates, it becomes very easy for us to spot. Okay, boss, यहाँ पे, there is a turnaround that is happening. Let me quickly see the chart, what it is doing. So that is what RRG will make it possible for you. But if you tell that के यहाँ पर से घूम गया and then I should buy, then again, please remember, everything is relative, in relative terms. So when the setup is happening something like this, okay, and if the index is going down, okay, if the index is going down, then please understand that even this stock which is turning around from weakening, this will also give us a negative return only, but the only thing is that it might give us less negative return. Okay, the chances of it going to positive is less when your actual market is becoming bad. Okay, so always please understand this point, that relative strength will help you to identify. Okay, it will help you to identify which stock it is it, but eventually you will have to go to the price action and try to find, where is the buy and the sell setup that is being formed. Okay, we will discuss about it, how to do that, but just understand this, this point. Okay, because it is very, very relevant. Now, the second thing that you might want to watch out for is when a stock is doing something like this. Now, say for example, you want to find which are the weak stocks. So for that, the setup would be something like this. See when the momentum is turning around from improving, this will be the first sign of caution. And then when the relative strength starts going on the right hand side, it means that it is going to underperform. And the other thing is that, say if example you are long on something, okay, so the stock would be rising higher, but then over here when the momentum starts dipping, so the dip in the momentum should be the early sign for you to recognize that the momentum could lose pace. Now it can get into a corrective phase, so you need to be careful. Okay, I'm again repeating, this will help you to identify the patterns. You will of course have to go to the price action, in which case maybe what you can do is that you can tighten your trailing reversal levels, or you can be more watchful of the reversal levels, if at all this is going to happen then. Okay, so these are the two important patterns that you need to watch out for. Now, as I have mentioned, what I find it very interesting is that, and see, I mean, this is just a style, but typically we like to, I mean, at least I like to catch the move which are going to start. Okay, and not where we have already seen it. Of course, I mean, the stocks which are into leading, I will of course keep them in radar, but the stocks which are turning around, I be more watchful on those type of stock, because those are the ones where immediately the move is gonna come. So the whole idea is to capture the move initially and then see how it plays out. Okay. So in that case, I mean, this is something I have seen a lot happening in the, in the index level. So if at all I want to understand, I mean, when I am doing this daily live session on 11 o'clock, okay, what I tend to do is that I tend to look at how are the indices placed on RRG, okay, and this helps us a lot in identifying sectors. So what I've found over a period of time is that IT and banks, you know, a lot of management happens between that, because when IT tops out is possibly the time when banks bottom out, and when banks bottom out, and when banks top out, that's where IT bottoms out. I mean, this is what I have seen time and again. So let us just see the two symbols. Okay. So over here, I want to untick everything, Nifty Bank and Nifty IT. Okay. So you will see most of the time, something like this. So you will see over here. Okay. Now see this, notice that I'm seeing a daily chart. Okay. Now you see this. The momentum of the IT is weakening, and which date was it? It was say 9th September. Sorry, 4th September. So Bank Nifty. So 4th September is somewhere over here. Okay. And if you see IT, so IT, of course, after Infi buyback, there was some up move. But over here, you see somewhere on second, third only. So the top had happened a little prior, but then it was falling, falling, falling. So that's where if you want to capture those near-term moves, it helps us do that beautifully well. Okay, because you can see over here that the Bank Nifty was turning around. Maybe I would not be that gung-ho on IT from a short-term perspective, and maybe I would like to look for opportunities in bank. Now, sometimes what happens is that when this arrow turns around and you get a confirmation on the chart as well, that becomes a lot more important signals. So say for example, this turned around on 4th of September. Okay. And when I see the Bank Nifty chart and it gives me a positive weekly close over here. Okay. Then now please understand, I mean, TradingView does it at the start of the week. Okay. Which means 1st of September. The closing was on, I think 4th or 5th. 5th, of course. Then you can see that this candle was green. And what has happened is that the price action has come to an important support level on the weekly chart, and then it is turning around, right? So then this becomes a lot more lucrative option where you then start anticipating that there will be an improvement in momentum. So improvement in momentum is starting to happen, right? Now you see next few days what happened. Okay. Okay, see this. So you can see now the improvement has happened in relative strength as well as momentum, and that is what becomes interesting. Now, I will be more cautious on Bank Nifty if at all it's a turn. See, I won't be able to cover everything, but I'll briefly tell you that what are the things that you need to watch. So, say for example, if the Bank Nifty is then turning around from say this key resistance level, which is either the 40-day average or the trend line. Okay. And from there, if it turns around and you see RRG, something like this happening, then I'll be very cautious. Okay. Then maybe I would want to book out now. But please understand this, I'm talking from a very short-term perspective. The ideal time frame, which Julius also himself mentions, who is the creator of RRG, is weekly. Okay. In weekly, you have to identify what the stocks and the sectors are going to do. So now see, in weekly, the momentum is still very weak. And that's why, I mean, if I am a very short-term trader, I would be interested in Bank Nifty. But maybe from a weekly perspective, the turnaround has not might happen yet. The turnaround might be visible only when this trend line breaks or something happens. Only then this weekly RRG, you might see some sort of turnaround happening over here. And when that happens, that will be a very, very, key thing to watch out for. Okay. But I'm telling you, time and again, you will see these patterns happening. And that's where it becomes extremely important and relatively easy to find the sectors which are going to do well. Now, in this case, basically, see, we have small cap, mid caps, and everything. But when I want to understand sectors, I have made some specific sectors like 16, 17 sectors, and I try to see what is happening over there. Okay. So now see what is happening is consumer durable. This momentum is losing. Okay. Nifty Pharma, we are seeing some loss of momentum on the weekly. Now, this is something that in a higher time frame that is happening. Now, one important thing for you to understand is the importance of multi-time frame. Okay. So say this is your weekly RRG and this is your daily RRG. Okay. So it can so happen that in weekly, it can be something like this. Okay. But in daily, you will get some phases, which means that while it is doing this, I mean, say weekly was something like this, but in daily, what might happen is something like this. And then it will again come over here. Okay. I mean, it is not exactly this shape, but it can be anything. It can be something like this. It can take off any shape. But what I'm trying to say is that by the time it goes to the weakening and lagging, maybe there are 2, 3 cycles that might have got completed over here, something like this. And that's where analyzing multi-time frame becomes very important. Now, say for example, something like consumer durable, okay, it is turning down, and in pharma it is turning down. Now, the good part of web version is that you can also make a chart and think and take it daily, okay. And over here, basically we have weekly. Over here we have daily. Now again, what I'm trying to do is that यहाँ पे निफ्टी इंडाइसेस इफ आई टेक एंड सबको हटा के कंज्यूमर ड्यूरेबल एंड फार्मा. Okay. Now see consumer durable, even in daily, the RS is dropping. Okay. So this is not a good sign. But in pharma, as you can see that on the daily, the RS is improving and the momentum is improving. So there is a scope, there might be some scope of a trading opportunity over here. Okay. But for consumer durable, because weekly is also down, daily the momentum is also down, you need to be careful. Okay. Now this we have seen it from an RRG perspective. Now let's try and understand how the chart might also be shaping out, right? So see, this is what you see on the daily chart, right? Now this is what RRG gives you visually, okay, which otherwise would have been difficult to understand. I mean, you might just think that ये एक ही red candle है, so we should not be worried. But when your this daily is going down, okay, and now which date was it? Say it is on 8th, okay. So it is basically on this candle. Now it is warning. So now think of it this way, that you had already you already got into consumer durables. Then probably your reversal levels could be, of course, depending on your style. It could either be this trend line. If you are more from a medium term perspective, if you were a very short term trader, maybe this would have been your reversal level, or someone who catches price action, 20-day something can be your important reversal level. Now, if you ask me which is the reversal level that is important, so I would say that I don't have a right answer. It all depends upon the situation. Okay, so say for in this case, given that the Nifty seems to be breaking out and it seems to be rising higher, so I would do a couple of things. One is that check what the retracement level is from top to bottom. Now I can see that this is at 61.8% retracement, where on RRG I'm getting this pattern on weekly, and daily also this was the weekly where it is turning down, and on daily also it is turning down and it has gone lower. Then I'll be very careful. Maybe I'll tighten my stop loss significantly. Okay. In such cases, if I'm a short-term trader, maybe 40-day average can be my reversal level. So which has already broken over here. So I'll be very careful. But say something like pharma, which in a medium term seems to be suggesting that there can be some weakness. Okay, but in the short term, as you can see that it is turning up. Okay, so this is where then you will make a choice as to what do you want to do. I mean, whether you want to bet on this or no. But the simple idea is that when you do such multi-time frame analysis, it it helps you to understand which are the sectors that you can bet on. Now, say for example, if we have been today in today's scenario, okay, let's take it a live example only. Let's do basically a live analysis only. So in this, firstly, what I would see is that what indices are doing on the weekly index. Okay. So in weekly, basically auto is strong, metal is strong, MNC, the momentum has flattened out. Okay. So here I have to be very watchful. If the momentum dips, I need to be careful. Okay. And there are, so this financial service is the only one that has seen some uptick. And this, like I mentioned, is a very good setup to watch out for, where the momentum is starting to turn around. Now we need to see this trend continue, basically to see a follow through in this up move. Now let's take an example of actually of financial service only, because this can be an early sign of a turnaround. So if I see, and let me check what is the positioning on the daily chart. Nifty financial service is over here. Okay, so basically from lagging it has gone to improving. So this is again a good sign. Now what I would want to see is that Nifty financial services index. Okay, so over here now the good part that I'm seeing is that the 40-day is broken. Probably this trend line is also broken, or it is almost over there, right? So the movement will be important to see what it does over here. Basically, if it consolidates and so on, it would be good. Even if, for example, there is some pullback that we see, then maybe on the hourly chart, the 40-hour average which we see will be very important. So any pullback from here and then an up move over here will also be very good. Now you saw the daily, but let's look at the weekly chart as well. And in weekly chart, what we see is even more encouraging, which means up move, a pullback has happened. It has come back to the lower band and almost around the 40 week. And from there, even the RMI indicator that we follow, that is also turning around. So this actually is a good setup to watch out for. Now, in this case, maybe for the confirmations, we'll wait. So one confirmation that we have already got is close above the 40-day exponential average, which is a good sign. The RMI had given a buy over here only. And this is where you would see that maybe even in daily, when was it turning around? Okay, this was the point. This was the point which is when it showed a turnaround, which was 3rd September. Okay. So 3rd September is this level, and you can see it showed a turnaround over there, and from there we have got an up move. Okay, and now even the weekly is holding promise. So this can be an interesting sector to watch out for, basically. Okay, so this is what we try and understand when we look at the RRG. Now imagine if you had to find a turnaround one by one on the chart, it might be relatively difficult. Okay, now the use case of this is also when you are checking some portfolio stocks or something. Okay, so say for example, if I created this basket, say it is of 22 stocks. Okay, now please, I had done a lot of watch list, maybe just to test, so please don't take it literally, but I'm just showing you how you can think about it. So say for example, Rallis, it was showing some promise, but now again the relative strength has gone, which is bad. Okay, you can see Dhanuka, Barbecue, Tata Power, these are all showing lack of momentum, and this is not a good sign. Now, again, what you might want to do is that first you might want to check what are they doing in the weekly thing, okay, in weekly RRG. So what they are doing on the weekly RRG will be important, and then we'll have to see what they are doing on daily. So say something like Loras, Rallis, Apcotex, these are all seeing falling momentum. Sri Digvijay Cement, this has also seen a bit of a fall. So these are the places where you need to be a little careful. Okay, which are the places that probably you might want to explore? So something like say Hinzing, it is seeing an improvement in RRG over here. Bata, it is seeing an improvement in RRG over here. But yes, apart from that, more or less, in most of the cases, the momentum is falling on the weekly. Now, because I saw that Bata and Hinzing is good, okay, so then I'll try and analyze what are they doing on daily. So where is Bata? Bata is over here. And you can see that Bata has done well. I mean, now over here, what has happened is that it has already done well. It doesn't make sense maybe to, not look at it right now. But maybe when it goes to the weakening and then it starts turning around, then I will keep it on my radar. Okay. The other one which we saw was Hinzing. So over here also there was dip in momentum, but now a turnaround is happening. So in both these cases, of course, we will look at the chart as well. So in Bata India, you can see a very nice up move has happened, and that's why we have seen a turnaround. But also more importantly, what you will realize is that this stock had almost gone back to the 2020 low, and from there it had turned around. Okay, so I had drawn some trend lines and something over here. So maybe when I see this chart, this becomes an interesting setup for me to go and monitor and see whether will there be any turnaround in Bata India or no. Because when I can see, I mean, this is a log chart. Okay, so let me remove those channels and so on. So you can see that if I draw the lower line from 2003, this is a log chart. It is almost coming over there and turning around from there. So this can be an interesting from a medium to long term perspective, but maybe in the short term, it has already seen some good run. Okay. Maybe I might want to wait for a pullback, or I might want that this resistance zone to be broken out decisively. Maybe something of that sort for me to get interested. But at this point of time, it wouldn't look that interesting. Now, say for example, something like Hinzing that we saw. So over here, we are actually seeing a turnaround happening. And this is something actually we discussed even in the live session. Someone had pointed me out, and it was actually, it worked out very well. So just to give you a context, what is happening, what was happening in Hinzing was that this was a major resistance. Okay. This major resistance got broken. On the weekly, we saw a bullish crossover in RMI as well. Okay. And I'm not sure where the averages is, but yeah, even the averages got broken. So this becomes an interesting bet from a medium term perspective. Okay. Which means that probably the RRG, which is showing me some turnaround over here, it has that potential that probably it can even go till here and so on. So in that case, what you are trying to do is that you are trying to catch it in the early phase. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So in this case, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to catch Hinzing on an early phase. Okay. So, and also, if you think of, I mean, we have been talking about this in our live session also at 11 o'clock, which is that the metals index is also looking up. It has broken above the previous high, right? So now I have a stock within the metal index, which is actually, starting to do well. Okay. And so I'm getting those double confirmation. One is that it is already starting to outperform Nifty a little bit. Metals is also breaking out, and metals itself is outperforming Nifty index by a very good margin. So say for example, if I take it over here in daily indices, okay, And if I see Nifty metal, so I can see that the momentum over there is increasing. This is the weekly chart. On the daily chart, again, the momentum and this is rising. So within this sector, I'm getting one stock which is now turning around. So this can be a good idea. That is not just because of RRG, but then I also analyzed it based on the price action that it is breaking above the 40-week average, then it is giving a crossover, and then it has broken this short-term resistance level as well. Now, the only thing that I need to watch very closely is what it does over this gap zone. Okay, because this gap zone will be an important resistance, and if it breaks this gap zone, then even more positivity will start adding up. So basically the point is that this can be also an early stage move, but over here, the good part is that the confirmation that we got was on Friday only. Okay, in case of Bata, it had already run up. But in case of Hensing, we are just getting that confirmation in Friday's session. So again, this stock can be an interesting one to watch out for in the near term. Okay. Now you have to understand how to trade on this, and for that you will need those reversal levels in place, which means if you are buying, okay, and if you want to buy positionally, then this will be your reversal level. Then you have to ask yourself, are you prepared to take, so are you prepared that if this reversal level hits, then will you be okay with that or not? If you are not, then that is where you will have to fine tune your trading strategy, and that's where you will have to fine tune how to take a position in this such that it matches your risk reward also, and it looks good to you as well. But from a medium to long term perspective, maybe when this turnaround is happening, because I had even seen its monthly chart and it was looking even more interesting, which means it had come back to the 40-month, it is consolidating over here, and then it is turning around. So even the monthly chart was good, and that's where it had caught my attention. But yes, when we look at the RRG, that gave us the first signal. That is where it even clicked to my mind that I should go and I should check this stock. That is because something like this is happening in RRG, and then I'll deep dive further. So what this will help me to do is that it will help me to quickly find the stocks where I want to concentrate on. Okay, and maybe the ones where I am seeing the loss of momentum and so on. So say something over here where I'm seeing loss of momentum on the weekly chart and so on. That is where I might want to reassess whether are they worth holding, or should I remove my money from this stock and get into this stock and so on. So that is the kind of help RRG will give you when you do it like this. Okay, when you try and analyze like this. But just to sum it up, the patterns that you need to watch out for the bullish ones, okay, is basically a turnaround from here or a turnaround from here. Okay, and for weakness, the pattern that you need to watch out for is a turnaround from here or a turnaround from here. Okay, if you see reality, reality was a very good example of that. So let us check reality index. Reality, this was the case. Okay, when you go back few weeks, okay, this was the place where the momentum had started to dip. Okay, this was 2507, which means July 2507. Okay, so basically it was this candle, and then we saw this correction over here. Okay, now if you see what was happening in RRG, okay, on the daily time frame. Okay, let me select everything and then Okay. So now you can see how the daily movement of that is since 27. Okay, in fact, it was just hovering within this zone since a long time. Now, can you see this? This had entered lagging in the early June. Sorry, early July month. Okay, and see from there what is it doing. It never came back to the leading quadrant, right? And that is where even you see the price action of Nifty Realty. Some pullback, again a decline. Some pullback, again a decline. So even when the Nifty index has broken above the 40-day exponential average and so on, this index has still not able to do that. Okay, and this is the kind of analysis that becomes extremely helpful and easy from RRG point of view. Now, see, now let's try and catch if RRG would have warned us around this level or no, which is 21st, 22nd August. Okay, where is it? 20. So you can see the price over here. Okay, this was 21st August, which was over here. Okay, and you can see now you can see what had happened. So on 11th of August, which was somewhere over here, okay, RRG started to point out that there is some momentum uptick that is happening. Okay, and there was some relative strength uptick as well. And then you can see, okay, it was rising higher. Okay, and that's where we ended up seeing this some bit of pullback. But after that, 22nd, okay. So over here, basically, even when the Nifty, I mean, maybe the Nifty index was also going down during this phase. Wait, let us see what Nifty index was doing on 21st. So see, Nifty index had also corrected, and that's why when reality was correcting, maybe it was correcting a little less over there. Okay, so Nifty index also you can see 21st ko it topped out. Now, if I do Nifty reality, maybe it was not falling to that extent, and that's why it was showing us the promise that maybe it is now starting to outperform. But as soon as this happened, which is 4th of September. Okay, so 4th of September, what Nifty did? So Nifty had started to inch higher over here, but reality was not doing so. Okay, and you can see that reality was going down, and that's where it again fell and it started going to the leading quadrant. So now, did you see how RRG mentioned how RRG helped us to identify that this can be a weak sector? Now please understand that this I am seeing on a daily chart, and that's why I'm trying to capture a small move. Okay, but this, if I see it on a weekly chart, I can get a very good trend. Okay, and this is what you need to understand. Sometimes, and not every time, I'm again mentioning, sometimes I even look at the monthly chart. If I see some index might do well, I look at the monthly chart. So in the monthly chart, what I can see is that Nifty FMCG seems to be turning around on the monthly chart. Okay, and why? So why I sometimes see monthly chart is because it helps me to understand which are the sectors that can possibly do well. Okay, so FMCG, as I showed you, it was showing an uptick. Now when I do FMCG index, okay, this is actually BSC, but more or less the patterns are the same. And you can see on the monthly chart, what has happened is it has pulled back to the 40-month and now it is turning around. Okay, and over here also RMI also it has come back to zero line and now it is turning around. So this would help us to identify that yes, possibly this can also be one of the sectors to watch out for. Okay. And sometimes when the patterns are there, it becomes even more interesting. So frankly, I thought that this was the inverse HNS pattern which was developing, and that GST cut, I thought it would run away, but it did not. And now when I redraw the pattern, basically we are getting something like this. Okay. Now basically this is like a pattern that is developing. Now, if this is just a right shoulder, then maybe it might consolidate a bit and so on. But what the monthly RRG is showing that there is some turnaround happening. Maybe when this level breaks on the upside, okay. Maybe when this level breaks on the upside, then it would become very interesting to see how the RRG is positioned for all the time frames. Okay. Now, at this point of time, if you see FMCG, it is at a very crucial juncture because it is over here, and the pace of the momentum is also falling. Okay. Now, if it sees a turnaround from here, then it will not be good. Then maybe there is a chance that it might end up forming some sort of right shoulder or even go down. I mean, I don't know, but this is something that can happen. So we need to be watchful. But again, I'm telling you, everything becomes relative in relative sense. So it can so happen that Nifty FMCG can give a breakout, but what will happen is that Nifty index might have given 10% return, but this will only give 2% return. In which case, RRG might show you that something like this is happening. Okay. So for us, what we need to capture is something like this for a turnaround or an up move. Okay. And if you're bearish, you need to catch this. Okay. The early signs of turning around will be a good enough indication for you to have a look at it. And then we can see on the charts, because by the time I noticed, when we go to the leading or when we cut to the weakening, major part of the correction is done. And that is where it doesn't add value, frankly. I mean, because when I learned that, if you want to be conservative, you need to do this. But when I do that, maximum amount of the gain or up move or the down move is done. And that's where then I started finding more. I started researching on this a bit more, and that's where I found out this pattern. Now, maybe I might be wrong or I don't know, but for now, it seems to be working for me. I have been able to identify some stocks. Now, I'll tell you one stock which I was having a very close look on, but that stock, I mean, had gone off my radar, but it only came to my radar because of RRG. So what happened was that over here it was turning around. Okay, as you can see over here, it was turning around. Now, when you see the chart, okay, this is 4 July. So this was around over here, okay, 4th July. So it was around this point. So what I was seeing was that in this case, basically, we have already got this breakout, right? And now the RRG also seems to be turning around. So that's where this stock caught my attention. What happened next is that the next week it fell 6%, but all the important levels were intact, right? And then you can see how RRG played out well. And this stock ended up moving, say, even if I consider from this point to the high, it ended up moving 20-30%. And this is at the time when the market was correcting. Okay, so just to give you a context, Nifty level would have been 30th June. 30th June. So Nifty was somewhere over here. Okay, so despite Nifty falling, consolidating and everything, this stock ended up giving a very good returns. That is because I could spot that stock on the RRG chart. Are you getting it? So that is how, this will become very helpful. And that's where, you might need to focus a lot and be there all the time and understand what is it doing on different time frames. Okay. So yes, broadly, I think from the explanation part, this is it. I mean, I tried to give you a lot more practical example. That is because I was watching at I mean, these stocks, these sectors at that point of time. And that's what caught my attention. And that is why I was able to present to you also. Now, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take it. If you please don't ask for the recommendation or anything like, what is this stock happening? What is that stock happening? Please don't do that. If you all have a conceptual question, I will be happy to clarify it, but please make sure that you don't ask stock specific question. Okay. But in the stock, if we are able to see some interesting pattern, I would be very happy to discuss that. But don't want to get into the stock.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. I think so that was a good brief on RRG. Before we get into the Q&A session, I would like everyone attending the session to just give a feedback on what you have learned and how was the webinar for you, as well as and I'm putting the links in the chat for everyone. And also, if it's the first time you're seeing Strike or this is the first time you're seeing RRG, just know that we are the one of the first Indian companies to introduce RRG for the Indian retail. So we understood that a tool like RRG will really benefit uh, in your sector analysis, or once you open up the sector, seeing how the stocks are rotating. That is something that will really help you in identifying the stocks. So it would be really helpful if you could just click on the feedback form, give us what is your thoughts, also on what are the other topics that you would like Jay or others market strategists to cover. What do you really want to learn? How do you want to learn the tool, or do you want to learn markets? Or anything, just give your feedback form. And if you have not signed up yet, there's a 7-day free trial upon sign up. So just click on the link and sign up for Strike as well. Okay, we
Yeah.
will be taking the questions up in the next 1 minute. So use this time to just fill up the form as well. Okay. Yeah. So as well, if you have doubts, do raise your hand and we'll be taking the questions one by one. You don't need, if it's any doubt you have, all you can do is just raise your hand and get your doubts clarified. Just wait for 1 more minute before we take up questions. Okay. Jay, are you there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we have Avinash Gupta. So he would be the first one to ask the question.
Yeah. Avinash, you can just unmute and you can ask the question.
Yeah, I've asked him to unmute. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hi.
So, I've been using Strike for suppose around a quarter now. I was mainly focused on the RMI zone because it kind of matched with my price action setup. I'm
Okay.
more into price action, and
Right.
um, yeah, like the RRG thing, it was quite not working for me earlier. Like I used to see that, I was just told about, the improving, leading, lagging, and weakening quarters, but I was never introduced to the momentum and the RS part.
Right.
So today was the time when I got to learn this thing. And yeah, now I can feel like why wasn't it working? Like I was looking at it at a very wrong way.
Right.
Yeah, you
Actually,
clarified that.
frankly, when we also, I mean, Julius also started educating us, or I also saw some videos. Most of the people were doing it like this. Okay, so see what happens is that when we also want to build some features on Strike, right?
Mhm.
So we also would like to trade on it to understand whether it is helpful or not. Or else, we are just giving out features, just to give out features. We don't want to do that. We want to practically know whether that is helpful or no, right? So that's
Yes, sir.
where, I was doing some here and there, some, trading and all those things. And I realized that that is not actually what is happening. Okay. So that's where I tried to find where are the patterns. So what used to happen, I mean, what I did and why I tried to find out these patterns were, okay, I was trying to see when the RMI is giving a bullish crossover, how this setup was there on RRG on different time frames.
Yes, sir.
So that's where then, over a period of time, I started developing that habit. So now, frankly, if you ask me, while I look at RMI, I do look at RRG as well to know what is happening. So it gives me a better understanding of, I mean, it adds to my conviction. I can
Yeah,
put it
okay.
that way.
So like, sir, one request to you, like you did mention not to mention stocks, but then I would just like to just look at it from your view as well, so that I have a better understanding. Could you please check out Tata Chemicals for me?
Sorry, which one?
Tata Chemicals.
Tata Chemical. Wait 1 minute. I'll just add it over here only. So,
Yes, sir.
is there any specific pattern that you have observed over here? And the
Yes,
reason
sir.
I'm asking Tata Chem. So in the weekly, the momentum is falling.
Okay.
In the daily, there is an uptick in momentum. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, but this weekly falling is not a good sign. I mean, when the weekly is falling,
Mm-hmm.
so when the weekly is falling now, this is my observation. You have to try and find over here something. Then it gives
Okay.
you a move from year to year. But when you are already here, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
chances are that something like this might happen, and you might not be able to capture much of a move.
So, like, sir, I entered around 333. If you could check, like, that would be around, just the entry of the improving or the like, pullback.
Okay, so now see, I'll put it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say for example, if so, it would have been worth catching somewhere over here. Now I don't know what the price is. So let's take 1st of September. Okay, because that is where we started to see some improvement over here. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
but again, I mentioned to you, you have to take into context Nifty also. Okay, because this is all relative. Okay,
Yes,
not
sir.
something that buy. So
Mm-hmm.
so first of what was that? 1st of September. Sorry, wait. So what was this first of? No, sorry, that was first of September.
September.
Ah. So see now over here, acha, 1st of September is here.
Yes.
So this could be the point. Can you see? I mean, yeah, basically when your RMI is giving bullish crossover and you're getting this,
Mm-hmm.
it is even better. So as I told you, this would add me a lot more conviction of thinking that at least a pullback can come.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting it? Now, the next thing that I might watch is that whether it has broken the 61.8 or no. So now see, it is struggling over here. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
if RRG does something like this, okay, something like this, then
Mm-hmm.
I'll be scared that, something like this can happen.
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So that is how you can try and combine your price action plus RRG. So sometimes see now this I'm telling you with my personal experience that what happens is that now this was one day of down move, right, in Tata Chemical.
Mm-hmm.
You might just think that boss it is just an ordinary pullback and it will again rise higher, right? But when this if this red candle would have come along with a dip in RMI in RRG, I would have been even more cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting it? So
Yes, sir.
that's how probably combining RRG. See, when you learn new things, it might take some time for you to adapt to it, to understand the patterns, how is it happening. But I can tell you when you combine RMI plus RRG and the patterns that you need to look out for, it will
Mm-hmm.
make your life very, very easy. Matlab, lot more easier than earlier. I can vouch for that.
Like, sir, frankly speaking, I didn't even know that RRG could be worked out on multiple time frames. This is the first time
Problem is
I've
that
got.
in monthly time frame, your patience will be tested to the core because
Yes, sir. No, no. Like, for me, like the weekly and the daily analysis could work just absolutely fine.
Yeah. It definitely helps. It definitely helps. I mean, see, when you understand how the working is now, it becomes easy for you to understand. It helps you to gain conviction. So now when I look at monthly chart and if something is turning around, I know that maybe next 3-4 months it will do well. But the problem with people is that they will see it every day.
Yes, sir.
This line won't change. Are you getting it? So that is the thing. The only thing is that RRG in monthly is very slow. So you need to
Mm-hmm.
have that patience if you are trying to catch some turning around points on monthly chart then.
No, sir. Like I'm a swing trader, so like, monthly doesn't make a very long sense for me.
It doesn't
I
help
plan
then.
my trades on the weekly and the daily time frames.
Yeah. Weekly and the daily would be the best ones.
And like I just don't like to focus on the buy or the sell. So, the process part, so, like if the process is clear enough, you'll get all the buy and sell signals in the world for your entire life.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Like this
Yeah.
really cleared it out. I I'll go and test this on some few more positions of mine. Hopefully, this will be a little bit of, it will add a layer of more conviction to my trading now.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Avinash. Okay, next we have Bhagavati, and before that, I hope everyone has filled up the form, and if you have not signed up, do sign up. Okay, Bhagavati, if you can unmute and you can speak.
Thank you, Rahul J and Jayji, for giving the
Yeah.
opportunity. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, Jay, if you were to start from the blank from tomorrow or from today, as we all know, we have 4 steps: what to buy, when to buy, and how much to buy, and when to sell. In this chronology of order, where this RRG fits into your mode of action.
Yeah. I think that is
Did you
what I
get my
meant.
question?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got your question. I think that is what I was trying to say, that Nifty Financial Service was the one, right, where it was turning around. So let me take that index once again. So can you see that this was the index that was turning around, right? If I had a blank slate, basically financial service is the one that is turning around in the weekly, right? On the daily RRG, sorry, let me take that index only. Okay. So this was financial service on weekly. This is on daily. You can see that over here the momentum is improving. Now that's where I analyzed the chart for you all, and I showed you that some interesting development is definitely happening over here. Okay, which means it is breaking out. I mean, it is almost at the resistance line. It has already broken out of the averages. Okay, so these are all good signs, and it is developing. Now, what I would watch very carefully is that in the coming week, okay, whether do we see the momentum uptick or no? Because if the momentum uptick happens, and as I had mentioned earlier, momentum will always precede relative strength. If momentum is rising, eventually even the relative strength will rise. Okay, so here we are seeing some early signs of turnaround. Now we would want to see if relative strength also improves, and more importantly whether we get a follow through or no, because it is now almost at that make or break level. It can get into lagging as well. Okay, so if we get this pattern, then I would be very bullish on financial service. So while I was analyzing the indices, this was the only thing that caught my eye, and I would be very hopeful of bank as well. That is because banks have turned around from a 40-week average, okay, in terms of price action. And in daily, there have already been turnaround signs. In weekly, it is almost similar to the financial service. It's just that financial service has outperformed even bank. Okay. but that is where the watching point will be.
Hello.
I'm not sure if he's
Uh, okay. Thank you for the question, Bhagavati. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we have Ashish.
Hi Jay, thanks for the session. The question I have is when you're looking at RRG, there are weekly and then daily time frames.
right.
So how do we marry that to the holding period, or say the whether weekly is good for a position which we are taking for 3 to 4 weeks, or like 3 to 4 months, and daily is good for 1 or 2 days or 1 week? Like how do we marry that time range? And the
Okay.
sub question is, on the top you have RRG or you have chart, right? Where you have the relative rotation graph on the top, right? You
Correct.
can either look at the RRG or the chart, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So in the chart, there are crossover lines, right? When one line is crossing each other. Is there any significance of those crossover lines?
No, honestly, I did not find any significant findings on that. Frankly, I have not paid much attention on that. All I have been looking for a momentum turnaround. Okay. So that is the first thing that I watch. If that is happening, then I see what is it doing on RMI and other parameters. So frankly, I have not observed so much on the crossovers. The second part of your question was, I mean, the first part of your question was very relevant and important. So what I have observed is that when something in the daily, the cycle has to happen, it can last anywhere between, probably 2 weeks to 4 weeks kind of perspective. Okay. When your daily is turning around. So say, for example, if, something is turning around from here, from daily. Okay. So maybe to complete that cycle, probably it might take 2 weeks to 4 weeks kind of perspective. I mean, you need to have that kind of mindset. Then daily RRG works well for you, right? When you
Okay, yeah.
see, it can take anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 4 months.
For
So
weekly.
yeah, from weekly. So from that lens, you have to see. So typically, what I would suggest is that if your time horizon is 2 to 3 months, okay, weekly will help. Daily will help you to catch the initial turnaround. Are you getting it?
Yeah, I'm getting it. But one thing which is not clear is when you are looking at, say, a turnaround, a stock moving from, say, lagging to improving, or from improving to leading, is that
No.
first daily turns out and then weekly turns out? Like what happens first, the daily time frames or the weekly time frame? Like is there a serial to that, or there is no serial?
No, so always daily will turn around first. Okay.
Yeah,
Now it
daily.
is important for you. I mean, see, it is important for you to understand what is your style and how quickly you want to catch it. Okay. Now, see, I'll give you my case. Okay. Now, you can try and relate for yourself as well. I mean, what suits you. But say, for example, something like this happens. Okay. Where the up move is happening and a correction has happened. And I know that it has reached an important support level which is over here, right?
Mm.
So, इसमें I'll see where is it that I'm getting the evidence of a turnaround. Is it daily or weekly? Okay. If a turnaround is happening in the daily, my initial expectation would be कि at least 2-3 हफ्ता it will do well, right?
Mm.
Then, if that 2-3 weeks during that time frame, even weekly starts turning around, then it will add to my conviction probably to hold on. So while I am trying to judge a turnaround on the daily, I am not necessarily keeping a mindset कि मैं 3-4 महीने तक रखूंगा. Are you getting it?
Yes, yes.
But when I see that daily में turnaround has happened and some key levels are breaking in daily, and then I'm seeing even weekly RRG is turning around, it will add to my conviction. Maybe I will add more also. Okay, if I'm comfortable with the prices and so on, or when I know that the weekly is turning around, now as I was giving you an example of SPIC as well, right? What has happened was that turnaround happened over here. Okay, so let me give you with an example only. Okay, so when this turnaround happened initially, after that you did see a fall. Okay,
आप अभी वीकली चार्ट में हो?
हाँ हाँ, मैं वीकली में ही बात कर रहा हूँ.
ओके.
तो ये जो था ना, दिस वाज द फर्स्ट रीजन व्हाई दिस स्टॉक कॉट माय आई. ओके, so this you can see is 4th of
July.
4th of July, right? So 4th of July was basically this. So trading view क्या करता है, स्टार्ट ऑफ द वीक बताता है. ओके, कैंडल. तो now you can see the next week it has still fallen, right? But now the thing is that are any important now when I'm looking at weekly, my mindset is very clear कि मैं 2 से 3 महीने के व्यू से देख रहा हूं, because I'm seeing weekly, right? So now this sort of corrections shouldn't bog you down because none of the important levels are broken. In fact, what only happened is that the trend line got retested, right? But after that, you saw that big move. So, of course, in between, there were these ups and downs that were happening. But you can see there was no signs of a turnaround in RRG. So, that's where you have to marry price action with RRG to come to a conclusion. Because understand, RRG को भी smoothen किया जाता है. So, when it falls from the top, it will not directly give you that signal. If it is 1 week, 2 week of weakness, that's where the momentum will start to plateau or fall down. So that's where RRG will help you to identify the turnaround. It is your price action and your style which will help you to sail through it more confidently.
Yeah, no, I think that is helpful. Thank you. एक फीचर से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन था. आई थिंक a lot of people have asked this from last few months. BSC का डेटा आप लोग ऐड करने वाले थे. Has that been added or not yet?
No. It is, I mean, it is some time away because right now, as we had mentioned also, see, what we have done is that there were some issues that we were facing in our system. Okay, so क्या हो रहा था कि बीच में we were temporarily fixing things. Okay, but वो reoccur हो रहा था. So we had to rework on that and bring it to 1 minute delayed data, which we are seeing right now, right? Now वो जो 1 minute में हमने जो किया है ना, there are still some issues we are not satisfied and we are working on that. Okay, because this time we don't want to make that mistake of rushing everything and then eventually things breaking down and again be putting all the efforts over there. Okay.
Yeah.
First, this 1 minute ka what we have done, there are few issues like demerger and all those things. We want to settle it down because demergers bhi aata hai na, so it is not getting reflected right now, due to which the RRG charts goes haywire, right? Then it does not become relevant only to see. So there are few such things that we are working on. Once that is done, उसके बाद जो भी fundamental scanners that we have built, we'll bring that. वो सब होने के बाद, अगर फीचर्स सब कुछ होने के बाद, because there are a lot of other features that we have lined up, which is basically helpful. And honestly, to our assessment, what we have seen is that major important stocks are getting covered in NSE. Okay. So that's where we focused initially on NSE. And we want to get all those analytics on NSE. Once that is done, maybe, we can, people have asked us for commodity and all those things as well. Maybe wo sab later, that is not honestly a priority right now. We have a lot other important priorities.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And is there anything in the back testing in Strike platform? Is there any available feature which can help in back testing or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. But I hope everyone has filled up the form and signed up if you have not signed up to Stripe. Next, we have AJ.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Just one thing. First is that should we use Nifty 50 or Nifty 500 or any is okay?
No. depends on you. I mean, what benchmark do you want to keep?
Okay.
I just have
And
a bit of keeping Nifty 50, but it's up to your comfort.
okay. And secondly, you were mentioning some live classes at 11 o'clock. So what is the way to join those?
So that we are actually publishing every day. So if you follow strike_IC, okay, strike_IC Twitter handle, you're able to
Oh,
see my screen, right?
yeah, I can see your screen. Yes.
So यहाँ पे ना every time you see this at 11 o'clock we go live every day.
Okay. Okay.
So you can just go to this page
I'll follow this handle then. Yeah.
at 11. You'll be able to see it.
Okay. And one thing, as I understand that if we increase the period, let's say weekly, we are saying 6 weeks or 8 weeks, it just increases the tail part of it. So is it anything means, is it of any significance if we go for a longer period here, or is
So
just the tail is getting increased? That's all.
no, so it's just that, see, if I want to see it like this, right? So I have to go back and see it. Now, if you want to see when has it happened, okay?
Mhm.
So by increasing the tail, you might not have to go back. You might
Okay.
be able to see it that way. So that is the importance of tail.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have Bhavan.
Yeah, hi, am I audible, Jay? Can you please confirm?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderful session, and I have been an CMT charter myself. So this topic is very, very, useful to all market participants. I have couple of doubts here. The JDK momentum and RS score that this platform throws is the same as what founder has made, or you have made certain
No.
customization?
No, the founders. The founder who has made it, we have just given that. So basically, we have licensed it from him.
Okay. Because in none of the platforms this features was available except for certain higher paid platforms. So that is a good thing that you have done. I appreciate that. The second question is, while doing this RRG, I have the flexibility to change the benchmark that I want to compare, because sectors I would like to compare with Nifty 50, say, but for stock I would like to take some sectorial index. So that flexibility I have, right?
Yes. So see, at this point of time, what we have done is that if you have gone to auto, so benchmark mein you will see three benchmarks: Nifty 50, auto, and Nifty 500. But
Okay.
at this point of time, we don't have that feature कि आपको auto Nifty energy से benchmark करना है तो. Okay.
ठीक है. I mean, as long as auto stocks are getting compared with auto Nifty auto, it is fine. So it is a proper, benchmarking.
Correct.
Right.
So यहाँ पे even if you do FMCG, तो जो भी relevant index है वो आपको benchmark में मिल जाएगा.
Correct. And broader index 500 is also available in case there is a mid cap stock that I want to compare, right? And secondly, see, I have signed off for this platform. I would like to go for a subscription also. So anybody from your team can contact, and because I have been a subscriber to your insider club also for some time now. So I would look forward to subscribing Strike also. And is there any way that I can understand the interface of Strike little better? Is there a tutorial available or a YouTube channel available?
So there is a lot that you will see over here in help section. Basically, हम लोग का जो भी new features है ना, unique features that we have explained over here. Apart from that, how to use Strike platform, maybe that will be the initial tour that can help you. Okay.
Understood.
So यहाँ पे all those features are there. Apart from that, we do a lot of stuff on social media, especially YouTube and all. वहाँ पे आपको, you'll get to learn about everything that we have over here. So, just to show you, this is Strike Money. Okay, this is our English channel. We have created Hindi also for a brief while, but udhar itna.
Understood.
Yeah. So live में ना you will see everything. यहाँ पे हम लोग webinars भी बहुत करते थे, तो all those webinars also you will get over here. But all these things you will get it on Strike Money.
Understood. And one last question. I have. Could you please right now show how do I do this RRG in the platform? Because when I have logged in, I'm little lost how to do it.
Okay, so now you can see over here, right?
Yes.
यहाँ पे ना, there are these three buttons that we have given. One is for scanner, one is for analyze, one is for learn. So RRG falls into this one, analyze.
Hmm.
And यहाँ पर से you have to go to RRG.
Okay.
Okay. One more thing that will be very helpful for you, since you mentioned that you're CMT. I don't know if you're working somewhere or doing it for your own, but basically you can create a watch list. The good part that we have given over here is that के watch list पे भी अपन RRG लगा सकते हैं.
Yeah.
Okay. So that you might find that also feature helpful.
This feature is really awesome, and it can take trading, curve of anybody to a next level. So, lastly, if you can please compare NMDC and NALCO in RRG, please.
Yeah, sure. I'll have to go to metal.
Hmm.
I think metal का वो दोनों part है, हाँ. So see, if I only want to compare two, I can untick this. ये किया और
Below it.
So this is how you can see it. Now this is weekly. Weekly में you can see that NALCO का actually plateau हो रहा है momentum, but this is still rising. So
Okay.
this is good. And
But the NALCO chart is telling me a little different story, because it has given a breakout, and it is continuing to close higher
right.
in weekly time frame. If you can please see the chart also.
Yeah.
So see, it's very close to the breakout zones.
Right. So I agree to this. The only thing I think I'm not sure now that has happened or no, but was 61 point. Acha, okay. So it is still at 61.8 now, around.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be the watching point now. So that's what actually even RRG is telling, that maybe ये अच्छा चल गया है. Okay. Now, if you would have held it, it would make perfect sense. I'm not sure NMDC का क्या है. Now see, NMDC is just breaking out.
Right.
Right, in that sense. So that is what RRG is telling कि यहाँ पे तो अभी भी momentum बचा है. Because you think of it this way, these are all rate of change, right? तो rate of change में NALCO का rate of change डल हो गया है. Okay,
Right.
so you're still rising. So maybe if at this point of time, if I see also the chart, now NMDC के लिए I can keep this as the reversal level, right? But NALCO के लिए this might end up being the reversal level. So it's all, so in terms of strength of the chart, probably NALCO is much better. But in terms of opportunity, it could probably be NMDC. I mean,
because it is starting to break out. Yeah.
If we only see these two, then.
Sure. Thank you. It was very helpful.
Thanks.
Okay, Bhavinji, I'm going to, not just Bhavinji, for everyone, I'm just going to put the customer support number and email address. So if you want to reach out to Strike Team regarding the subscription or any other issue, feel free to reach out there. Okay?
Sure.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Rajesh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi Jay. Thank you for taking out some time for explaining this RRG. And earlier I was using RRG, but it was purely on a daily time frame, and I was not too sure about the use of weekly time frame. So now I got the understanding of how to use the weekly time frame to understand the trend, then verifying with the daily time frame. That was really helpful. Actually, I had a question about the tail, that RRG tail, right? So what is the ideal tail, whether it's a 5 or 6 or 8? I mean, what would be the ideal tail length?
It doesn't matter. I can even keep it 3 and still analyze. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't really matter?
No. It is just that tail will help you to understand where is it coming from.
Okay. That's a good point. Correct. And the one more thing what I wanted to ask is the difference between, in tail there is a dots, right? That the length of this dot varies. For some, for example, NMDC, right? The difference between the two dots is less, whereas the one more, what is that? National. The difference between the two dots is wider. So is that the momentum?
No, it's it's, you can say momentum and relative strength. So you can see over here, यहाँ पे the relative strength was 101.08. Now it is 102.56. So the more the outperformance or more the relative strength will be, you will see the wider, I mean, you will see wider gaps between these.
So
So
the wider one is better.
wider one says that it has seen a very strong move. Now it totally depends on the chart whether that move is already done or it is about, or there is still some more steam left.
So in a layman's term, without looking at the chart, if I look only at the RRG and would like to figure out, I mean, which stock I would like to invest in, if you are comparing the national and NMDC, looking at the difference between the 2 points, can we make out without
Yeah.
looking at the chart?
Explaining Bhavin as well. See, I mentioned earlier, right, that momentum will fall down first, then our relative strength will fall down. Correct? Now, what you can now think of it this way: while riding, okay, while you are riding a car, what will you do when you want to take a U-turn? You will slow down and
Slow down. Correct.
So what I was explaining Bhavin also about this is that कि यहाँ पे जो बड़ा move आना था ना, that has come. Okay. Now, see, if I have to purely compare the momentum of NMDC is much better than Nalco at this point of time. In terms of it is rising higher towards the
correct.
Right. So the risk that I see in Nalco is that if something of this sort happens, okay,
That you're talking about the direction.
Right.
Okay.
So what happens is that now if I have to choose between the two,
okay,
actually NMDC might be much better setup for me because
correct. I agree with you.
in momentum rising, right? So then that's where if I have seen these two, then I'll check the chart also individually, right? In this case, what has happened is that ये Nalco में already run आ गया.
Okay.
Now in NMDC, it is just breaking out of the previous high.
Okay.
Are you getting it? So maybe I have some run till here. Okay, that is left. But now the thing that I have to watch is that what will be the reversal level and whether that will be appropriate or no.
Okay.
That is the next level thing that you will have to do, and you will have to find what is it that suits your reversal level, and you can then take trade accordingly. But what these things can also help you to do is that at least these stocks will come on your radar.
Okay.
Are you getting it? And after that, whenever your setups are good, I mean, whichever way you look at the setup, if those are looking good, you will get into those stocks again. So what I also try and do is that sometimes to be very honest now, the opportunity I see is somewhere over here.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. By here, it is too late. At least for me.
Correct.
I am not really a momentum trader as such. I like to pick the turnarounds. Okay. So then what I might then do is that I'll keep this in radar and then wait for this to happen.
Okay. So you mean to say that, if the stock moves from improving to leading, the momentum will drop gradually?
Not necessary, but if you're seeing that plateauing of the move, of the momentum, then you have to be careful because it is a indication that the momentum can now go down. I mean, or potentially it can go down.
So then the best quadrant would be improving, right? In that case, because the momentum will keep on improving or increasing from improving ladder to this leading quadrant.
So frankly, I like this.
Okay.
Somewhere over here or this.
That one would make more sense. Yeah, weakening to leading.
Or something like this can also be very good if this happens and something like this happens. Because what this may indicate is that there was a correction that was seen, but now that correction is also going away. Now I'll tell you the context in which I'm talking about. Okay, so you see something like this. Okay, IT. And now I am very watchful of when this momentum turns around. Okay, because in the chart, what I have seen is that now these are all things, please understand that I have already analyzed and now I'm seeing just RRG for the confirmation. Okay. So now this is Nifty IT. Okay. Now, firstly, it has retraced 61.8% and it is turning around, right? The second part is that it is trying to hold above the 40-day, which is second positive, right? Now, the third positive is over here, which is on the monthly chart. It is again back to 40, and now it is trying to turn around. It made a doji last month, and now it is trying to turn around.
So do you see any correlation between this ROIC momentum indicator and RRG, just to get a confirmation?
So what happens is that ROIC momentum will probably turn around first.
Okay, so that would be the first indicator. I mean, the leading indicator.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So, but the only problem is that when ROIC momentum gives you a bullish sign,
Okay.
what it might tell you that in the near term the upmove is coming, okay, but it wouldn't tell you, say for example, if something of this might happen. So when the bullish crossover comes,
Okay.
what I would sense is that the upmove is gonna come.
Correct.
Then you have to watch it on an ongoing basis. You know, when is it turning around or so, and that's where your trend analysis and all those experience comes into play. But whenever I have seen the monthly or any time frame the average is holding, and then RMI giving a bullish crossover, it normally goes to the new high.
Okay.
Okay. So the thing for me is that this is an opportunity, because you have to understand that it has a lot more way to go till here, right? So that's where that will be my opportunity. Now, I'm not sure if you are following us, but you know, I had mentioned that a lot of IT stocks seeing major shorts. So I'm just trying to tell you how do we confirm. Okay.
Okay.
So are you aware about this short covering concept that we have mentioned?
No, I'm not aware of it.
So what happens is that, now wait, let me, I might take some time to explain, but it will be very clear to you. Okay. So what happens is that, think of, you know, what do we, 1 minute. Yeah. Think of open interest as your sentiment indicator.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens is that when there is a very major short, that means everyone is sort of shorting. Now you might say that for some short there is some long, but you always have to look at it from a price action perspective.
Okay.
If the prices are going down and the open interest is extremely high, or sooner or later a turnaround has to happen. Like say for example Kotak Bank, okay, RBI banned it, right? Some onboarding of customers and all those things, or credit card. That's where it had seen a big gap down.
Correct.
Eventually, it led to a very big short position that got created. This entire thing got unwinded in the next few months.
Correct.
Okay. Now, something similar is happening across IT stocks. TCS has the highest short ever since history. I mean, we have it since 2012. You can see that since history, it is the highest ever.
Okay.
Infi, you have the highest short ever. I mean, not ever, but these are significant short positions.
Okay.
Okay. And all this time, you will see that whenever there are highest short positions, it is accompanied by a major bottom.
Okay.
Okay. So somewhere over here also, when this short had occurred, this was over here. Okay. Sorry, basically in this decline, this was the shorting position. Eventually, it led to a short covering rally. So
basically, these will be inverse.
So now what is happening is that I am seeing this pattern across IT. So that was the first time when IT stock came to my radar.
Okay.
So then I was wondering that if all IT stocks are seeing so much short, then how is the IT index positioned? So I did the reverse thing. Are you getting it? I saw this first, then I saw Nifty IT index, then I saw that okay, Nifty IT index is very well poised. So what is it doing on RRG? Then I saw that. That way. So sometimes, you know, RRG can help you spot it, or sometimes it can be the other way. But basically, combining things will add to your conviction.
Correct.
The broader point.
Okay, I have one more question. Right now, we can analyze stocks and sectors but as me being a ETF trader, so we are unable to analyze ETFs. So
Yeah,
I'm more inclined towards ETF, analyzing and trading.
we want
Hope
to
Strike can help me there.
no. So right now we don't have ETF, frankly.
Okay. So is there any possibility of you adding ETFs in near term?
So see, I'll tell you what we were thinking. I can't commit to the timelines, but I'll surely tell you what we were thinking. The only thing is that we need some design changes over here, and we need to think how to put it in such a way that it will be easy for people to understand. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
So you might be aware of that, like, most of the Indian customers are like, investing through ETFs. That
yes,
data is, is very promising. I mean,
I know,
for the
I
last 5
understand.
years, and there are more and more number of people are investing in ETFs.
Yes, yes. I understand what you're getting, what you're saying. So probably we'll have to do something like this, these categorization.
Correct.
Even right now, actually what is happening is that, we have given some index ka component.
Correct.
Okay, equity may, sorry, I guess I went to some other place. But there are some other indices also, like say Nifty momentum, like these are sectors, right? Then
Correct.
thematic, then strategy,
Strategy indices.
then
Correct.
broad indices. So we'll all have to bring this along with exchange traded fund. Now we are just trying to find out a way how to easily put it in such a way that it doesn't become a burden for people in understanding things.
Okay.
So once all those 1 minute data bugs and all those fixes will happen, this is on our radar. The only thing is that we are trying to find how to simplify things for people in such a way that it can be useful for them. So in this case, basically all this exchange traded fund, I mean, there are hundreds of them now that have come. So
Correct.
that we'll try to put in.
Okay. So you have a RM indicator which is specifically for your strike platform.
Right.
So I can also see that there is an RM indicator in TradingView. As I'm a premium member, so can I get access on TradingView for RM indicator?
So see, what had happened was that we had built this RMI prior to strike because
Okay.
we were doing our own analysis, right?
Okay.
So that's why we had built it. After strike, we do it over here. I think, Rahul, you can come in over here. So there is some, I think, one-time charge that we are taking for that indicator that is for lifetime. Maybe you might
Yes.
want to connect Rahul for that.
Yeah,
So
so it was only part of the mentorship students whom we are giving access. But now I have dropped in the my details over that email address and number. Just reach out to me there, and then we'll work something out for you as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Rahul, for that. Thank you, Jay,
Yeah,
for explaining. It was really a helpful session for me, and
thanks.
I got to learn a lot of things from Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Next we have Sayesh. Sayesh, are you available?
You can unmute and you can ask the question.
Okay. I don't think so. He's responding. So we can take a question from Supriya Nair.
Yeah, I just want to know whether you have compared this with the open interest and whether we have any indication when to go with stocks and when to go with options or something like that. And second part of my question is also just show once how to compare it with the main index, like when we are comparing Motherson with Nifty Auto Index, that also.
So the first thing, the first part of your question, so there is no direct thing. See, as I told you, open interest and all those things, I see it for the confirmation part. Okay, some now, like I was explaining Rajesh ji as well, Nifty IT I found out first through the open interest, then I saw what the index was doing, and then I saw what happened on RRG. But say, for example, Nifty Financial Service, which we discussed right now, which seems to be turning up. Now, this is something I have seen on RRG, and there is a possibility that I will look on the chart and then I'll look at the internal components of that. So there is no fixed pattern as such how to see. It is just that you have to see the data. You have to understand when something is happening on a sector front broadly in all those stocks and within the sector, then I take a note of it. And then I look at the other things to confirm it. So that is how I look at it. I mean, see, ultimately, please understand one thing. For everything, price action is the confirmation. Indicator is like an indication that can happen of a turnaround or so. Okay. But sometimes it can happen. I mean, I'm sure you might be aware if you know this concept of overbought being overbought for a long period of time, oversold being oversold for a long period of time. In such cases, what do? We wait for the price action to confirm, right? Till the time we will stay with the trend. So something similar happens over here. Even in IT, when we are seeing a major short positions happening, we need to wait for the price confirmation to turn around. Now, on daily charts, those turnaround has happened in many of the stocks. In weekly charts, the turnaround has not yet happened. So that is what we would look out for. If weekly also the turnaround happens, then this rally might have a lot more leg. Maybe in that case, even the RRG, which is still falling, that might turn around. Okay. So that's where you have to use all those combinations of factor for you to understand things. Now, coming to the second part, if you want to say analyze Motherson to Nifty Auto. So what you have to do is that you have to go to Nifty Auto. Okay. Within that, there is, if this component is not there, okay, Motherson is already over there. So you can see over here that there is some early signs of a turnaround on a weekly chart, right? And then, so this is basically I am benchmarking it to Nifty 50, but I can even benchmark it to Nifty Auto and see what is happening. Okay, so in Nifty Auto, it gives a different picture altogether. I mean, it is deeply in red and there are no signs of turnaround yet in when I compare it to Nifty Auto. But in Nifty 50, there was a different picture. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, that was Supriya. I hope you've gotten clarity. Next, we have Sayesh.
No, we have Ashish.
No, Sayesh, he had raised his hand earlier. Okay.
Okay.
I've asked him to unmute. I don't know if he has some audio issues he had mentioned. Are you able to speak, Mr. Sayesh? Okay, we will take up a question from Ashish by then. Ashish, you can ask again.
Hi, thank you. I just want to ask, can you do the RRG on the stocks which are part of the FNO basket? Because I don't see any pre-built index here. So how do I do? And second is, I think you touched upon this, Jay, multiple times, but say if you want to look at the best pattern in RRG, then the best pattern is something moving from lagging to improving or something moving from improving to leading. Like obviously there cannot be like a exact answer, but yeah, one or two of those.
So first thing on the FNO, what I've done is that I have created multiple baskets of 50-50 ka list. Okay.
But ये manually करना पड़ेगा. There is no import export. Or can I just export it into Excel and import it here?
So there is one way how you can quickly do is एक मिनट, FNO. Okay. So there is one way that you can do it is यहाँ पे futures में जाके you OI interpretation, ठीक है? यहाँ पर से export किया, sorry, you have to
सारे का सारा आ जाएगा.
export in CSV, right? Now ये CSV आपने बना दिया ना, तो this you will have to make 4 sheets. Okay, sheet 1. Actually, मतलब मैंने ना ये sheet 1, sheet 2 करके नहीं देखा है, but make sure you make 4 Excels. Okay. And
हर एक में 50 और उसको इंपोर्ट कर लेंगे फिर.
हाँ, तो अभी सपोजिंगली ये 50 है, ठीक है? ये 51 तक है, तो अभी यहाँ से यहाँ मैंने पूरा उड़ा दिया this data.
And I think I got it.
मतलब वो एक बारी में 50 से ज्यादा नहीं लेगा, तो मेरे को 50-50 करके 4 शीट इंपोर्ट करनी पड़ेगी।
करेक्ट
ठीक
करेक्ट
है, ओके, आई गॉट इट, आई गॉट इट।
राइट
और आई थिंक दूसरा क्वेश्चन वाज द विच वन इज द बेस्ट पैटर्न। बट बिफोर यू गो देयर, जहां पर अभी आप थे ना ओआई इंटरप्रिटेशन वाले पेज पे, आई बीन यूजिंग स्ट्राइक फॉर क्लोज टू 1 ईयर, राइट? लेकिन इससे कोई अपने को इंसाइट मिलता है क्या? फॉर एग्जांपल कोई भी मैं लूंगा, जैसे एनबीसीसी है, लोधा है, तो बिकॉज दिस शॉर्ट बिल्डअप, लॉन्ग बिल्डअप, इट चेंजेस एवरी डे, राइट? तो
राइट
इससे मतलब मेरे को सिर्फ ये पता लगता है सेंटीमेंट किधर जा रहा है, पर मैं इसके बेसिस पे एंट्री और एग्जिट नहीं ले सकता ना, बिकॉज देन इट इज हर दिन कभी शॉर्ट हो रहा है, कभी लॉन्ग, कभी शॉर्ट, कभी लॉन्ग। तो मतलब इसका फायदा क्या है फिर? मतलब इसको देखने का फायदा ही नहीं है, बिकॉज आई कैन नॉट टेक एनी एक्शन, और इज
नो
देयर एनी यूज ऑफ लुकिंग एट इट?
Yeah, so the you see this is your filtration, this is your actual table. ठीक है, अभी ये जो भी डेटा जो आपको दिख रहा है, this is not for one day, but this is for entire series, right? Now, this is what I was showing to someone, TCS.
शॉर्ट इंटरेस्ट टीसीएस में ओआई इंडिकेटर इज जस्ट शॉर्ट इंटरेस्ट, नथिंग एल्स।
Exactly. So now what you are looking technically is a higher top, higher bottom formation. Then, probably your price is breaking the averages, breaking the turnaround, I mean, breaking the trend lines and so on, right? So that is what you would look out for. So that's where open interest becomes helpful in making you understand that, boss, we have come at an extreme. Okay. When this extreme is accompanied by a major support level on the downside, and if that is not getting breached, it is a good enough indication that, boss, if the prices don't go down, there is a good chance of short covering. And when short covering happens, you would have seen that it happens very fast. So that is the whole idea. So right now what is happening is that it was falling. Now it has stabilized. Okay. After stabilizing, there will be a phase when an up move will come. So this shorts eventually getting unwinded. I am very sure of that. The only issue, even I am trying to find out every day, is that whether it will do something like this and when does it turn around. I mean, that is the point. So that's where you might not have the answer right away. But what you will have to do is that first wait for the signal on the daily chart for a turnaround. Then wait for a turnaround on the weekly chart and maybe position size yourself. Because daily में turnaround होगा. I don't know कि weekly में होगा कि नहीं. It might just be a bounce. तो जब वो bounce आए and वो critical level पे आए, watch out for there. What the pattern is, I mean, how are those patterns developing, and then make a case. But I'm telling you, I mean, this I'm telling you with my experience. You would have known, right, that ITC was the most hated stock.
नहीं, बट ये जो अभी आपने मेरे को बताया ना, दिस इज अगेन मोर प्राइस एक्शन। लेकिन जो आपका ओआई इंटरप्रिटेशन का टेबल है, टेबल के साइड पे जो शॉर्ट कवरिंग, लॉन्ग अनवाइडिंग आता रहता है,
हाँ, so this is actually just for your information. Plus, when you click over here, you get to see those chart very quickly. अभी आप इमेजिन करो मैंने आपको ये टेबल ही नहीं दिया रहता, तो आपको हर बार आपको इधर पे क्लिक करके यू विल हैव टू सिलेक्ट ना।
ओके, मतलब FYI टाइप से, दिस इज एफ फॉर योर इन्फॉर्मेशन के ये चल रहा है, लेकिन एक्चुअली में तो
एक्चुअल इनपुट यहाँ से आपको मिलेगा।
ठीक है, आई गॉट इट, थैंक यू। द टेम्पलेट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, राइट? द
So,
leading weakening.
yeah, so see, this is to me, okay, I might be right or wrong, I don't know, but this is what is working for me, so that's why I'm telling you. If you want to not take risk, then look out for the patterns where a turnaround is happening from weakening to leading. Okay, because these are your best setups. Think of it this way, that a stock is in an uptrend and it is correcting. तो वो ये करेक्शन के टाइम ना, your RRG will come over here. Now when this up move starts happening, it will turn like this. So these are the best ones. Okay. The second pattern for buying could be this, but in this case what might happen is that the prices would be falling and you are seeing some early signs of a turnaround. So now whether this turnaround translate into this or this, that we don't know, but that is where what I try and do is that I first try to find which are the sectors that are going to do well. सेक्टर समझ में आ जाता है, then I try to find के इसमें अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी है या इसमें अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी है. To my understanding, I mean, I wouldn't have made much money if I have tried to play this crossover or this crossover. That's my this thing, my personal thing. I don't know. Maybe I would have executed it wrongly. I don't know. But this is what I have seen. So that's where I found these patterns helpful. I don't know if that answers your question, Ashish.
Ashish, are you available? Are you there?
I think you might have to
Yes,
unmute.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. You've just muted me, but yeah, I think I got the answers. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Rahul, I also
Uh,
sent you an email about
yes,
this one.
I
Thank
got
you.
that. I'll just, after this webinar, I'll just get in touch with you.
Yep, thank you. Bye.
Okay, we will just try Sayesh. He's been trying to reach out. I've asked him to unmute. Sayesh, are you available? Okay, I'll just read out the question. He has dropped in the question. He has dropped in how to get an indication to not stay positioned when overall market breadth is poor, like in July and August, from swing perspective. And please analyze RBL Bank as it is coming off COVID highs.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Sayesh's question was how to get an indication to not stay positioned when overall market breadth is poor, like in July and August, from a swing perspective. And also analyze RBL Bank as it is coming off COVID highs.
Okay, so see, there are two things to it. One is momentum swing, one is average swing. That is one way that you can gauge the breadth. Or the other part is 20-day average and 40-day average. So typically you will see that the breadth narrowing down before a final top occurs. Okay, like you can see over here. In any of the cases that you will see, always the breadth is the one that will fall first. Okay, like in this up move, the breadth was bad. This, right? So you will always get those indications prior. Okay, now you have to understand, but please remember that when the market is rising higher, there will be some outperforming stocks that will still be doing well. Okay, so then you will have to take each case by case basis. But to your question, I think market breadth will give you a fair idea about this, or else even the diffusion indicator, that is the percentage of stocks, that will also give you a fair idea. Like you can see over here, okay, the up move was happening, but the number of stocks about 20 SMA for Nifty 500, they were falling. So all this view will give you a fair idea whether the breadth is weakening or not. Okay. Now coming to your second question of RBL Bank, let me take. So RBL Bank falling off COVID lows. I mean, I will just try and analyze it from a RRG perspective. RBL Bank. Okay. So you can see over here in weekly, the momentum is falling and the RS has deteriorated sharply. So that is not a good sign. And in daily, also the momentum is starting to fall. So both of these are not good signs, at least for the short term and even probably for the medium term. So that's where I'll have to check the chart. And see over here, what is happening is that we are starting to see some correction. So in this case, see, there are two things that you can do. As I told you, RRG will give you relative performance. Okay, so it can so happen that Nifty can still go 10% higher, and this might still rise higher, but maybe by 3, 4, 5%. Okay, so in such cases, you will have to find a reversal level based on the price action which is there. Now you can make it. You can trail the reversal level to the previous low or averages. I mean, these are all your choices. But yes, I mean, this is what basically RRG is telling, that an underperformance cannot be ruled out. So you need to be careful on that front. But yeah, I mean, if you want to be very stock specific and see what is happening, then you have to understand the levels and what is the trend and trade based on that. Okay. Next question, Shubha Deshpande. Can you please unmute?
Yeah, we've got time only for two more questions. So, Shubha and Srinivas Achi. So, first we'll finish with Shubha.
Shubha, you can unmute and
Yeah.
Yeah, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this is actually my wife's account I registered.
No worries.
So I am Dr. Sudhendra Deshpande.
No worries.
Rahulji, yeah, you remember me, Rahulji? I
Yes,
talked
yes,
to
I
you
remember.
in the initial days. I am a
Yes,
dentist from Gulbarga.
yes, I remember.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's been like almost 1 year since I'm using this one, and I have recently once again subscribed for another next 15 months. So my thing is like, can we get a scanner? Now, and Jay sir, whatever patterns you have showed, now they are absolutely very beautiful patterns, and I've been trying to trade those only, and I've been finding very good success. In fact, I have been using top-down analysis. Like in what I am doing here is, if it in weekly, if it is entering into the leading segment.
Okay. So daily may you're trying to find
Then
the turnaround.
daily mein when it daily, and then even in hourly, daily when it comes into the lagging, and then it turns around, and in after that also when it comes into hourly, and then it went into the improving
Right.
in hourly. So that is the time when I enter, and most of the times from there the stop loss is very less, and I get a very good RR risk
Correct.
reward ratio. So yeah, so this is the pattern which I am following right now. But now the problem here, what I am facing is,
I understood. For you saying, I understood that you would want to see where is it that the momentum is rising and so on, right?
yeah, I would like you to build a scanner wherein it shows weekly leading, daily lagging, and hourly improving, in just like the way you show it in the F&O basket and other things, 50 EMA above, below, and all those things.
Yeah, to be very honest, I had made the designs of that. I have it with me as well. Something like this.
So can you please share that with me? Yeah, can you please share that with me? Because that will give me a very faster, and even during market hours, I can determine where and which stock I have to enter at that particular moment of time.
Build this. I mean, this was the initial design that I have made. We'll have to do it.
Okay.
मतलब जिसमें it shows you which quadrant it is in, and it also shows whether the momentum is rising or falling, and RS is rising or falling, and all those things we'll probably do it like an RMI indicator, where you can put multiple filters.
Okay. No, I just want it like a tabular column, the particular stock.
Tabular format. What I'm trying to say, like say there are symbols. In hourly, it is in leading. Its RS is rising. Its momentum is falling. Daily, mein it is in
Cool. Yeah.
वैसे. So,
Yeah.
and the moment
Yeah.
you click on the chart, basically you get all the 4 RRG charts, मतलब hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, so that you get a holistic picture of that.
Yes. So can that scanner be made available?
So this was the initial design that we have made. Now, I mean, it's a development work and all those things. See, as I told you, Deshpande ji, there are a lot of things that we have designed. The problem is to develop also quickly. And what happens is that when we are trying to develop quickly, something breaks. We don't want to make that mistake now. We're going a little slow, but we want to ensure that whatever we do it right this time. So that, because what happens is that when we try to do quickly and something breaks, we are again on the back foot. We are just, trying to rectify the mistakes that we have done earlier, right? But trust me, give us some time. Gradually, we'll build all those things, because see, we have limited resources. We have to allocate it to this, which are most important at this point of time.
Yes.
But because
got that.
We also want to find stocks quickly. Are you getting it? I mean, these all features we have built for ourselves only. Okay, we want to stock quickly. So the efforts are in that direction. The rolling out of features, you will see a lot more once we, complete with the existing issues. Once we are done with that, we'll start rolling out new features.
Yeah, you know what? Last week, the metal sector, Hindustan Zinc was the one which I could pick up very early.
Seen that rising.
And, yeah, because in Delhi it was in the whole. First of all, the metal sector was at 45-degree angulation in the leading,
Correct.
and then I went and saw which one is there in the which stock is actually in the improving sector in Delhi and hourly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it was perfect from I think from 435 to 460, 20 rupees futures, excellent.
Yes. But yeah, we
in 1 week.
those things. It will take a little time, but we'll try to build those things.
Yeah. So what is happening is now only I am able to do this in the weekends and during market hours because I am a dentist myself and I have got my other job to do. At a glance, I cannot take and when I see later on in the evening or sometime later, I feel I just felt like I missed out on this opportunity.
No, I understand. I understand your pain point. So no, but we'll definitely work on this. It might take some time, but because see, I'm trying to design those things which are helpful. Okay, so there are 5-6 of them there in the pipeline. So
okay. I think this scanner would be helpful to everybody, and it will help us in picking up stocks very early and very quickly.
Yes, that is the idea of this scanner. So yeah.
Thank you, JD. It was a wonderful session. I really liked it. I have been actually today is Sunday, but I have morning practice, and my patients are waiting outside, and I've been waiting patiently for my turn to come to talk to you.
Sure. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rahul.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Yes, you too. Next, we have time for one more question. Mr. Srinivas, you can unmute.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. My question is regarding this momentum and ratio, which are shown on the RRG chart. So my question is, this momentum, is it similar to or the same as Rohit momentum indicator? And this ratio, is it similar to RSI that is shown on the technical charts?
No.
And one more question is, I constantly see this churning of sectors by investors, the sector rotation, and why this sector rotation happens frequently, I could not understand, sir. So will you please throw light on these 3 points?
Sure. So firstly, the calculation of momentum and RS, even frankly, we don't have. It is done by Julius only. So he has just given all those APIs and that we have put it. Okay. But broadly, you can say that, see, there are some tweaks in the formula for momentum, but broadly, you can think of RMI in that case. For RS, he has some different calculation, and basically the ratio chart that we get, it is more or less based on that. Okay, the calculation. So just to give you a sense of ratio chart, say for example, I've opened some stock. So I am taking a ratio of say TCS to Nifty IT. Okay. So it is basically based on this ratio. Okay, wait, let me change the color. Yeah. So it is based on this ratio. He has built something for the RS ratio. Okay. Wait, why is this not loading? Okay, so based on this ratio only, Julius has built something on the RS ratio front. Okay, so that's where it is basically a combination of RS ratio plus momentum, which is very useful in finding stocks very quickly. Okay, so those were the first two questions. Now, why this rotation happened? Now, see what happens in the market is that there will be some sectors that will do well, some will do bad, and due to which there is constant churn in the sectors, right? So say for example, if the inflation has come down, for example, then all the ones where which are sensitive to interest rate, they will do very well. But at the same time, the ones which are producing, they will see a decline in their prices as well. Because what normally happens is that if you are producing at 30, you are selling it at 40, for example. Now, if you are producing at 25, you will be selling at 35 or 36 or whatever it is. So what market sees is that there is a decline in revenue. Maybe the EBITDA might be the same or it might improve and so on. But that is the fundamental idea of it. Okay, of course, market doesn't look at it from a quarter to quarter perspective, but from a day to day perspective as well, right? So that's where we see those constant churn in the sectors, and that is what gets reflected over here. So everything that you see is a relative performance with the benchmark. So say, for example, in Nifty 50, the benchmark is say, over here the benchmark is Nifty 50, then all this indices movement that you're seeing is all relative to the Nifty 50. Now you can see that in some cases, energy, CPSE, PSE, and all these are laggards, but FMCG is a rising momentum, auto is rising momentum. So these are all the ones that are right now doing well. Now, why this information is important is because when you are trading, you might not want to touch the ones which are falling very badly, because that is the case. There is a chance that you might end up losing money in this. And the ones with the rising momentum and all those things, there is a good chance that you might earn some good money from that, right? So that is why this is important. Why does it happen? I told you there could be some fundamental reason for those things, or it could also be sentiment that something is doing well, then everyone is rushing to that, and that's why it is doing well for some period of time. So yeah, that is the best I think I can explain. I'm not sure how to explain else.
Apart from fundamental factors, I was just asking. I was curious to know about the technical factors that affect the sector rotation.
Yeah, so see, it can be anything. For example, now you know that the NSE indices are very skewed to a few stocks, right? Now, say something good happens to Infi buyback and Nifty IT is up. Okay. If something bad happens to some one or two stocks, it comes down. But sometimes what may happen is that something might be good for HDFC, but say for example, Kotak Bank to give the credit card, RBI banned it, so it might be helpful for HDFC. So HDFC will rise higher. So somehow that might get balanced out. All those things keep happening. How does it affect sectors? It all depends on what weightage of the stock is getting affected in that index, right? If something like, say, for example, Marico, something is happening, it wouldn't even affect Nifty FMCG to big extent. But if, say, something happens to ITC, it can lead to a big deviation in the FMCG index because that has the highest weightage. So I'm not sure, how much should we read into it, but the broader idea is that index gives us a benchmark, right? And if they are doing something, it can help us get a clue that whether this index is going to do well or not. So, that is.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay. I have one request. I would like to attend one webinar on swing trading for options. If you can conduct that one, will be very, very helpful.
Actually, Rohit sir had done it last week, but a lot of it was, frankly, what we actually teach in mentorship. That is why it was not live, but he had done it just last week.
I attended that and I found it very useful and informative. So maybe look forward to more such sessions.
Yes, sir. Definitely, just put it in the feedback form. We will look into it, and we definitely will have another webinar, and we'll float it around, and you can definitely be part of it, ask questions, and probably get Rohit sir only for that session.
Thank you.
Will also help us to shape our webinars as well. So please do give it if in case you have not yet. At least it will be in our records that what people are expecting.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you so much.
Rajesh Tiwari ji, you can.
Yeah, we can take this as the last question. And
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi Jay. Hi Rahul. I would like to know, what are the new features you are planning to introduce in coming days or coming months? So can you give us some insights?
So it is basically all the fundamental scanners, be it valuation or normal fundamental scanners. Apart from that, there is divergence scanners also that we have planned. That is there. And these are the three things that are top of my mind. Other features.
So we also have a mobile app that is coming out in the next couple of months. So on the go, you can always have access to all this data. So that is something that we've been really working behind the scenes, sir.
So the highest priority you're giving as of now is to the scanners.
Scanners and the mobile app, both are being developed simultaneously.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Rahul, for your kind support.
Jay, we have one more question from the text. The question is, the OI chart, does it show total OI or only OI on short side?
Does it show total OI or?
Only OI on the short side.
No. It shows the total OI. So you always have to see whether it is short or long. That depends on the price action, because please understand that there is, for every long there is a short as well, or for every short there is a long as well. So it's a zero sum game over here. But the way we analyze is that, suppose if the price action is going down and the open interest is rising higher, that means shorts are being built. That is an assumption. So, but to your question, the total OI, I mean, it's a total OI, not short or long.
Okay. So I think so that is it for this webinar. I hope everyone has filled up the feedback form, and do sign up if you have not signed up for Strike. Thank you. Jay, you have any concluding things to say for everyone attending?
No. So yeah, so basically the only thing is that we are doing constant, live sessions even at 11 o'clock. Just follow us on Twitter, that is strike_IC, and around 11, just see over there. We usually go do the live sessions there. So all that I've discussed in RRG is what we do the analysis over there. So it is not just RRG, but all the other features that we try and cover. So and it helps us to give us the market perspective as well. So we all can learn together and discuss it. And in fact, there were some very good stocks also that people mentioned in the chat box, which actually did well. So there is a lot that even I am learning while I'm doing this webinar or this live session. So do join us for those, and together we can learn and make best use of Strike as well. So yeah, that's it from my side. I think we can wind up for today, and we'll probably meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the live session.
Sure. Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
Thanks.